Can you feel it? That silent force that's pushing you to become a main character. You ever walk into a room and you felt something shift in that instant? And not because someone said a word. And it wasn't because of the way people are dressed or what music might be playing in the background. And might I say that was the jam? But because there's a force moving through the space, one that either pulls you in or pushes you out, some people know exactly just how to channel that. Others don't even realize it's there. And that's why some people become the main character. While others, oh, the others, they just simply sit in the background of their own story. But here's the twist, this force is working on you right now. The question is, are you going to control it or is it going to control you? Now, you felt this before, right? I call it the setup. Think back to the last time that you actually walked into a room, and I'm talking about the room was full of people and they were packed wall to wall. Maybe it was a meeting, maybe it was a party, or it could have just been your normal day, a normal day in your life. But before you even spoke a word, before you even sat down, something unspoken was already happening in the background. People were already placing you somewhere in a hierarchy of that moment. And not because they knew you, no one cared to judge you, but because this force, this invisible current, had already decided how you would be perceived once you entered the room. But what if you can control it? Let's talk about the shift, okay? What if instead of assigning a role, you just stepped into one role that you actually wanted to be a part of? What if you could walk into any room, and I do mean any room, anywhere, and you can shift the energy just by being there? What if you could make people lean in closer before you even said one word? But the best part, this isn't about faking your confidence. We know you got it. It's not about being louder. We know you can be loud sometimes. It's not about looking better because we know you look good. And it's definitely not about proving yourself. It's about channeling what's already inside of you and utilizing it correctly. And the moment you learn how to do that, everything, and I do mean everything, will change to your benefit. So there are 3 forces that I'm going to break down for you on how you can become a main character if you're not already one. There are only those 3 forces that will separate you as a main character from the rest in the background. And don't worry, it doesn't require talent. It doesn't require you to pay any money. And it's definitely not based on luck. The first is your presence. The second is to be awareness. And the third is to command. Now, once you understand these 3 things, presence, awareness, and command, boom, you will have it all. Trust. So stop chasing the attention. You have to command attention. So the force of number 1, the presence, is how you are felt before you even open your mouth. I'm talking about presence isn't about what you say. It's about what happens before you say it. See, main characters don't announce themselves. Remember? Dum, da, da, da. None of that goes on. They don't over explain their value. They don't ask for permission to belong to anything, and they just are who they, in fact, are. But when they step into a space, people notice. And it's not because they're the loudest, but because they're freaking undeniable. And the way to build presence is stillness, certainty, and purpose. Those are three main factors for the main character. Stillness. I'm talking not fidgeting, not rushing. Move like you are exactly where you are meant to be. Certainty. Don't look for approval. Act like you already have been chosen. Hello. Purpose. Know why you're there, even if no one else does. Presence makes people tune into you before you even open your trap, meaning your mouth. But presence alone isn't enough because once people feel you, they have to believe you, right? So let's talk about the second force, awareness. This is how you read the room before the room reads you, right? You got to be aware of your surroundings. The biggest mistake that people make is that they focus so much on being seen that they forget to see who's in the room. The strongest main character in any movie, any show, or any real life situation, they don't just walk into a room. They don't walk in that room and demand attention. If you're really strong and good at communicating and different things, you're observant. You'll analyze what's going on around you, who's talking to who, and then you'll adapt. Because the moment you know who's watching, how they think, and what they need, you know how to move. You become one step ahead of everyone else. And that, my friend, is power. Force number 3, command. This is how you'll influence without forcing it. See, main characters don't try to control people. They command a space simply by existing in it. The way they stand, the way they listen, the way they respond only when it matters. And more importantly, they aren't reactionary. Now, that's a hard one for Miss T, I have to say. All these facial expressions you see me make here, I make in my real life conversations. This is just me, right? But sometimes I have to work on not reacting. Anywho, most people spend their lives just reacting to whatever energy is thrown at them. But if you are a true, and I do mean true, main character, you're going to create the energy that others react to around you. You're going to set the tone. You're going to dictate the flow. You're going to lead that moment without ever forcing it. Now, how to channel this force immediately? You have to shift. Because the second you realize that this force has already been moving through you, that's been influencing every interaction, every opportunity, every perception of you before you even spoke, right? That's the second you finally step into it fully. And when you do, every single room will adjust to you. See, conversations shift in your direction. People won't just notice you, you'll be rememberable. And not because you tried hard either. I mean, I know I leave an impact in every room I walk into. And it's not because you shouted louder either. And I'm just naturally a loud talker, so I'm sure people remember that. But because you finally stopped moving against the current and you started moving with the current, so are you really in control? Let me tell you my final thought about it. I believe that, like right now, this force is already working on you. It's shaping the way people see you. It's determining whether you lead the room or you just fade into the background. The question isn't if it's happening. The question is, are you in control of it? Or is it controlling you? Because every main character reaches a moment where they have to make a choice. That's facts. So keep moving the way you always have. Okay? Keep moving the way you always have. Or you could step into something completely different. And if you really resonated with today's story, do not forget to what? Like, share, and subscribe. Usually I don't even ask, but there's something about today that makes me feel, hey friend, can you like, share, and subscribe for me? I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. But before you decide, there's one more thing that I need to know. There's a mistake that blocks this shift completely, right? It's a habit that will silence your presence, kill your awareness, and strip you of your command if you don't fix it. See, you'll keep feeling the force, but you'll never be able to channel it. So I want you to click here on this video before this mistake keeps you stuck in the background for good. And until next time, keep on sipping and let that tea brew into action. And don't forget, this is WhoseTeaTV, where we turn lemons into gems.